We can look at the history of whatever your injury or illness is, and maybe figure out how it manifested, how it started, and then how to kind of diffuse what's going on, and then figure out a healthier way to proceed from there without having to continue to have the same issues. So anybody out there have any questions that you'd like to either type in or come up on video? I'm kind of lonely up here all by myself. Okay, I'll just keep talking. My main thing is I'm going to do this quite often in conjunction with my, I'm calling it a minute clinic. That's kind of a takeoff, I guess. So I don't know if it's trademarked or not, that word. So we're not sure if we'll keep it that way or not. But the clinic that I'm going to have several times a week, you can just come in, and pretty much I think I'm going to stick to a 15-minute reading for $25. So you can just come in at 15 minutes into my virtual classroom on my website. Everything is done via video or via phone if you're uncomfortable with that. And then you can come in and ask your questions. And also we can record your session for you. So you can take that away with you to look at, or sometimes when you leave after a reading, you have questions about how the reading went or things that you can't remember. So that way you can look back and see how the session went. So let's see, what can we talk about? This is just dead air. Isis, where's your blue hair?
What? What?
Show your blue hair, because it's something to talk about. Blue hair. I don't know if anybody's out there still. It says 4.
So that's how many people have seen it. You don't see where your face is?
Mm-hmm. So nobody's here at all. So I don't have to say anything if nobody's here, right? So I'm not. It's been about 20 years that I've been doing intuitive work. I was a nurse, or I'm still a nurse, but I was very exhausted. And there was a class for a guided imagery meditation. And at the time, I was much different than I am now. And I thought, I want the CEUs for nursing, and I'm just going to go to this silly thing. I didn't really have a belief system about this at the time. And when I did, I had this really profound experience as I started following the meditation and breathing. The light, I could see everything. All of a sudden, I could see the light. I could feel the heat in my body. It was like someone poured boiling water over my head. And as the energy came up, I was working from my feet up. I stopped at my heart because I felt so expanded and so full of fear of what was going on that I had an anxiety attack. And I thank you so much. As I walked out of the place in this panic, I was with my mom and I said, I don't even know what that was. You know, I had no idea. And I went back. The lady helped me. She put her hands on my feet and grounded me, which at the time I had no idea any of this existed. So after that, I went through this time of, I got my Reiki mastership, a 6 months well, it was about a year, because 1 and 2 took about 6 months. And then 6 months, I just studied my Reiki 3. And that was the beginning. I was a sponge. I couldn't stop reading. I think I read the Tibetan Book of the Dead in like 2 days. I couldn't stop getting information that pertained to opening my mind to all the possibilities. So at one point at the beginning, I said, I really, really want to learn how to be a healer, you know, to heal with my hands and see things with my mind. And so after that, it was just one thing after another until my whole life changed. Everywhere I looked, I could see people's stuff. I dreamt about people, what was going on in their lives. And then that brings me to here where I have a better understanding of how to control it and what it means. And now I can help other people. I've done a lot of my own work. So as I've worked on myself, when I work with someone else, their stuff doesn't resonate with me so much. So I can just see their stuff as their stuff. So it's been quite a trip. It's been about 20 years, and I've worked part-time, and just recently I've decided this is what I want to do full-time. So it kind of is in conjunction with the new year, I guess. Past 4 months, I've been wanting to do this, but also doing other things that I needed healing with too. So today, I'm just starting full-time. This is how I'm going to make my way. So that's why I'm on here. I noticed the person who asked the question, I think that they left. But so you feel this gift can, yes, I feel very, very, very confident that anybody, if they decide that this is what they want to do, can do this. I've had a lot of people tell me, you have a gift, you have a gift. Well, I don't want to look at, I feel I'm gifted, but I also feel like I've worked really, really hard. It's not something that somebody or the universe just dumped into my lap. It's something that I've worked very, very hard at. So it didn't just happen. You have to work hard and decide it's what you want to do. So yes, I believe you can develop it, definitely. But also be careful what you ask for. I always say that to people because I didn't know that when I asked at the beginning, and I went through a lot. It was like someone opened the door and all of a sudden I could see everything. So it was a big process trying to kind of back up and figure out, how do I deal with all of this? I also believe in you can manifest or create what you want in your life. So if you want it, if you want to be able to do some of this stuff, I think the first thing is just start asking for it. And then things will come into your life to give you the opportunities to learn. Do you have any of these abilities yourself that you've been working on, or is it just something that you're interested in? Okay. So I would really suggest, I'd suggest two things. One, anytime I'm a big supporter of people being able to, uncover what they're able to do. So anytime you want to correspond or talk, yes. Anytime you want to talk back and forth, or, I'm always available for any, if someone has questions about how to do this. The dreams are a big thing. That was one of the first things that I started working on, because I wanted to be able to use my dreams to answer questions in my life. So when you start wanting to, it's like you want to grab your dreams and use them to be tools in your life. So I would suggest, and maybe you've already done this or not, but start writing down if you have questions and you want, if dreaming is something that you feel is the topmost thing that will help you discover some questions, then before you go to bed, write down what you want to dream about, write down what your questions are, write down your goals with the dreams, and really solidify in your mind that you will get your answers. The more you believe, the more it will happen. So if you're not quite believing, then you may take, a few nights to get into the groove of things. But absolutely plan before you go to bed that this is going to be answered. This is going to help me. And you can even start with something small, something that's been bothering you, but isn't this big, huge question about your life, just something small so you can start to understand how it works. And then when you wake up, even if it isn't a dream that you were hoping to have, write it down. Write down all of your dreams, because the more, this is what I find really interesting. When you have a dream, you can usually tell, I call them soap opera dreams. If you have a soap opera dream and it doesn't feel very important, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you have a dream that you wake up and you say, geez, that feels like it meant something, write it down. And then also what I do is I have certain friends I tell my dreams to, or my family, my daughter. And once you start talking it out loud, then you'll find clues. When you say it out loud, what happened, how you felt, what you smelt, the colors of things, the words you say, almost sometimes it'll sound like a pun or a saying, but it will help you understand the purpose of the dream. So the more that you take, it's almost like your dreams are like clay, and you start to mold it and use it. The more you do that, the more they will help you. Good. I hope that helps you. I really do. As far as seeing images sometimes, when you see images, do you feel that they're spirits or something that's left over from somewhere? Or do you feel like it's bits and pieces? Is it the two things I'm wondering about, is it bits and pieces of answers to your questions, or is it bits and pieces of energy that's left behind, like spirits or someone else's stuff? Hard to describe. Believe me, I understand. I'll tell you a little bit about the way things go for me, and maybe that will help you. When I'm working with someone and say they want a general reading, I take my mind and kind of put it into their place. Like short seats. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. So when that happens, I think writing stuff down makes a really big difference, because once you start writing it down, it makes it more real. It makes it more implanted into your memory, so that if it doesn't pertain to what's going on right now, then you can look back, and a little while later, it may have been pertinent to something that's happened. Do you have this feeling just about yourself, or is it also around other people? Like if you're with someone, does it happen about things in their life? Okay. So if you decide you want to use this for your, your self-improvement, and also to develop this ability, definitely use your pen and your paper and write it down, and then ask. That's an interesting thing, because I'll tell you, especially if I'm tired, because I see a lot of things, especially when I'm tired, I will see memories, that something that happened 30 years ago, like that, like a movie, or I may see something that I don't know, like a short snippet, like you're saying. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad, and sometimes it's worrisome to me if it's bad, because I don't know what it's pertaining to. So like I'll start worrying something's going to happen on the other side of the planet, or something like that. So start writing it down. If it's something that you want to understand, and something that, it's like this, what I'm seeing with you, it's almost like a box to be unlocked. So start collecting your clues, and then you'll be able to learn how to use it to your advantage. let me just look real quick to see if I can get any information for you about that. Like, what use that's supposed to be. Oh. Hi.
Hey, Christina, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's nice to see your face.
Yes, I wasn't expecting to come on, but this is so interesting. So I appreciate
Thank you.
answering my questions.
No problem. It usually works out. Whoever we're supposed to connect with, we do. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, so it's something, it started, I didn't even realize that everyone isn't like this until my mom and I were talking one day, and I don't remember who brought it up, if it was her or me, but one of us said, oh, sometimes when I close my eyes, or sometimes, just randomly images just come to mind, when you close,
right.
see like little, and I said, yeah, that happens to me all the time. And then we started asking other people, and they're like, we don't know what you're talking about.
That's funny.
It's just so interesting because it's almost like, the way I describe it to people is like when you're, it's almost like if you're riding in a train in a city that you don't know, and you just look out the window and you see somebody walking a dog, or you see somebody, painting their house, and you just wonder to yourself, like, wonder what that person's life is, wonder what that, what they're doing today, what they're having for dinner. So it just seems so random. Like I'll just see little snippets like that. Or sometimes it's a piece of fabric, or sometimes it's a color, or, it just seems so random to me. I have no idea what the significance of it is. It doesn't seem to, pertain to anyone, to me or anybody in my family, but it's just something that, just these little images that, like you said, snippets.
Right, little snippets.
Right, it's not all the time. It's not like, it seems like at certain times of my life it's been more common than others, but I just always thought there's got to be a reason that I'm seeing these things, and it's interesting that it's me and my mom and nobody else in the family.
Right. I think sometimes we do, like generation after generation, we do have abilities that are passed down. I don't know if it's in our genetics or if we're just brought up believing in certain things. So we're, I don't know how that works. My hair is such a mess. I need a towel to put my hair. But what I'd like to do for you, I'm recording this, so it's helpful to me to sit and talk with you, and I can share this after. But let me take a look and see if I can get any information for you about this, and maybe that will help you understand why you have it, understand maybe you can use, how you can use it. So I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. This is like the uncomfortable part when I do this on Blab, because I'm like closing my eyes and being quiet. But let me just take a peek and see what I can get for you.
Sure.
The first thing I see, I'm going to try to put this into words. I'm seeing and hearing things at the same time, and it has a little bit to do with, it's almost like memories of something that you've seen, but although it doesn't feel familiar to you, but it has something to do with you. Let me ask you a question. When you're going through your life, in the past especially, have you had problems staying in the moment?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So part of what this is about is to encourage you. It seems random and weird, but what I'm hearing is to encourage you to be in the moment, because some of these things, one, you're only getting a little bit of what you could get. One of the biggest things about our conversation right here that I'm supposed to be telling you, and I think from just what I can see your blog and stuff, you're probably on your way, which is why I'm just like this random person out here giving you clarification of where you're headed anyways. But it's important that you do some type of practice to keep yourself in the moment, because your mind works very fast and you miss out on things that could be very important to you. So it's almost, what I'm saying is you have the ability to gather a lot of information from a lot of different places. And the snippets that you're seeing are just the small pieces that your mind's able to show you. And I know all of that sounds kind of confusing, but hold on one second. I'm also hearing that part of the things that you see are almost like fantasies of things that your heart desires that you don't allow yourself to have. So two things to come away from like this conversation. Very important to do work for yourself to be in the moment. Be in the moment, be in the moment. That's very important. The other thing is there's parts of you that don't think that you deserve the very best of things. And these snippets that you see are trying to tell you some of the beautiful things that you could have or desire, or you could what's the word? Another word for what the word I'm trying to think of is manifest. Like you could create in your life if you allowed yourself to have all of the things that you deserve.
That's great.
So for now on, when you have these snippets, because your dreams are important, just as important. But when you see the snippets, write them down, write them down, write them down. And then you can go back and say, you know, maybe what does this mean to me? Because I don't get the feeling that it's this random thing from people all over the world or in other places. It's about you.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason,
it might appear that way, even though it might appear that it's random to me. It does have some kind of significance to me personally.
Yes. And it's about you. So if you write down all these things that you see, then just ask, how does this pertain to me? Because it seems like you tend to ask, what can I do for you? Meaning other people.
Right.
What can I do for myself?
Right.
So it's time to say, what can I do for myself? And then be in the moment, and all of your questions will be answered. Remember that. Okay. What can I do for myself? And if I'm in the moment, all of my questions will be answered.
That's great. I need to write that down.
Well, it also, I recorded this, so you can come back to this and you can watch. But let's see, wait a minute. If you stay in the moment, all of your questions. Wait a minute. I forgot. What did I say?
All of your questions will be answered.
Okay. So that's your good day.
No, that is really helpful, because I have always thought, oh, this must be of significance to somebody else, or this little thing must relate, and sometimes it has.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't thought of it in that way, to, almost that Freudian thing where, all your dreams really are about you or relate to you.
Yeah. And they're all within you. You know what I mean? Everything is, all your answers, all of your before, now, and in the future are all in there, waiting for you just to find the pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah, that makes a
lot. Start writing everything down. I think that's really important.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. That's been really helpful. And thanks for being my note taker too.
Oh, no problem. No problem. And I followed you. And if you're interested in being on my mailing list for emails and stuff, you can just leave me your email and I'll add you to the list. I have a blog. I'd like to say a daily blog, but it usually doesn't happen every day. But and I'm doing these this clinic probably 5 to 7 days. I'll be open on my website. I have a virtual door. If you're a Doctor Who person, it looks like a TARDIS, and I do everything by video. So
great. Okay, well, I have followed you also, and I'll definitely, because I do have a lot of questions, just kind of where to head, the direction that I'm going, and that type of thing. So I'll definitely check you out. And
I do whole sessions, certainly. So if you wanted to make my sessions are all virtual too, and it's on another. It's not on here, of course. It's on a thing called Zoom. So, but I record that also. So you would have your the whole session recorded, so you can go back and take a look at it.
Great. Well, thank you, Christina. I appreciate it. Did you want me?
You're very welcome.
Did you want me to stay on and keep you company, or?
I think actually I'm going to get off for now because I hear my son coughing behind me. So I want to figure out what's going on with that. But we'll catch up. And, if you have any questions or whatever, I'll give you my email.
Okay.
And my website.
Great.
All right. It was so nice. Mimi, right? Is that your first name?
Right. It's Mimi.
Great. It was really nice to meet you. And I'll check out your blog too, because I could definitely use some of that myself.
Great connecting with you, Christina.
All right. You too. Have an awesome New Year's Day.
You too. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.